Hi, I'm Mike with the Daily BM. On this episode, we'll be discussing personal trainers and physical fitness. We're also going to be talking a little bit about doctors and how to vet personal trainers, doctors, and people in your life as far as information that you get. I hope you enjoy this episode, and remember, like and subscribe. Thank you.
Good morning, fuckers! It's another day of the Daily BM. Welcome to a brand new week and a brand new day. And I have Mikey in the house with me. What's going on?
Hey, everybody, what's happening? Welcome back. I'm so glad to have you with us this morning on a beautiful Man Cave Monday.
Hey, I
I
was
was kind of
tell
excited
you.
about this topic. Go ahead.
Well, before you go into the
Excited about
topic, I just want to talk to you about something. I mean, you already saw it a little bit, but now that it's finished, when you stop by, you can look at it. But I finally completed something manly this week. Yes, I got my balls back from my wife. No, I'm just kidding.
Yay! Congratulations.
Yay, got my balls back. No, I built an axe target for throwing axes in the backyard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's got some TLC it needs to be done, but I'm pretty proud of it. But it is PT. When anybody doesn't know what PT is, that's called pressure treated wood. So I gotta let it dry out in the sun before I can paint a target on it and do all that kind of stuff. So about 30 days from now, sitting outside in the Florida sun, I figured, hey, it'll be ready to go and be chunking. Well, I'm gonna still throw shit at it, but I'm just saying it'll be ready to put the target on it and finish it off, so to speak.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited about that.
So what's the topic today, brother?
So I wanted to talk about what do I want to talk about? Yeah, personal training. Yeah. I was gonna talk
somebody
about
needs some protein.
I was gonna talk about personal trainers.
Okay.
Physical fitness and personal trainers. That's the
Alright.
topic I wanted to talk about. Jesus, man.
Alright.
I for a second there, my brain just said, I was on
Hey,
I was on
you
fu-
guys!
I was on fucking dial up, you know. It's like you text me this morning and you're like, I can't figure out my goddamn food's not cooking in my damn ninja thing, and then I realized I put it in compartment 2 and I was cooking on compartment 1.
Hold on. Hey, let me explain to you guys what a fucking idiot I was this morning. So
Yeah.
I sat there. No shit. Now I'm ashamed to admit this. So I have the Ninja air fryer, and it has 2 sides to cook on, a 1 and a 2. So anybody that knows the Ninja will get exactly what I mean with this. So I get up at 5:30 in the morning. I'm really tired today, man, by the way, just so you know, FYI. So I
Yeah.
pull out. I went to Outback Steakhouse last night, and my wife had a grilled chicken, and I had just a simple 6-ounce sirloin. So I ate half of it, and I was like, you know what? I'll save this for breakfast and have a good protein start the day with a little bit, maybe a protein shake, blah, 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 some creatine, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
So I go to put it in the side 2 on the air fryer, but I programmed side 1. Not once, not twice, but 3 times at 3 minutes and wondering why the shit's not cooking. Finally, I look at it and I go, you dumb son of a bitch. I was like, you literally for 9 minutes sat here and stared at side 1 heating up
Right.
with side
Right.
2 cold. And so I sent Mike a picture, and he was like, ha 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 ha, laughing at me via text. So I already knew that expression. So yeah, that's how stupid I am. So continue. So we're talking about physical fitness.
Yeah, and you know, like the importance of having, like, I guess, personal trainers. You know, for a long time I was kind of I had a couple bad experiences back in the day with personal trainers, and I started to feel like that they were more about keeping me on the payroll as opposed to helping me see gains. Um, because every time I'd go in to work out, I would always feel like I'd leave feeling defeated and like I hadn't accomplished anything. I don't know. Do you ever feel like that when you were working out? Did you ever get personal trainers that were like that?
You know, I had a real so I worked in, believe it or not, you couldn't tell by looking at me about 6 months ago, but I did work in a fitness industry for about 5 years, I
Uh huh.
believe. I was in 5 years. I was a manager at a fitness center here locally. I started off as a sales agent back when they used to have contracts. But I did the one thing the thing about physical trainers is you can pretty much
Uh huh.
tell real quickly if they're about themselves and or if they know what the fuck they're talking about. You can really tell unless you're just so green you have no clue, and then it's like, man, it can be trial and error. So you got to vet people based on their certifications, just like you would anything in life. if they have like their personal training certifications, they went through the courses to become a personal trainer. And when somebody says, I'm a personal trainer, hey, what's your certs? Then you're going to get that reaction of, well, I'm going to get my certs. Have a nice day. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
If I was going to hire, I don't have one right now. I am
Right.
looking at doing one virtually. It's a money thing for me right now. So if you want to
Yeah.
contribute to my personal training lifestyle, send over Cash App or
Nudes.
Venmo to info@thedailybm.com, where you can fund my personal training sessions. And then
Yeah, I
I'll
guess your
track my progress for you.
OnlyFans really isn't taking off like
Yeah,
you'd
dude.
hoped.
Yeah, the problem was I showed my face. It fucked it all up. But
Mm.
anyway, when I had my feet, I was making money. But now when I showed my face, they went, ugh, never mind.
Oh.
But
Oh.
yeah, I know they were like, oh, that guy, fuck that. But no, so personal trainers. I had a personal trainer once train me at the club level, and he thought it was funny as a joke to overtrain me, and I literally
Oh.
couldn't walk for 3 days. That's all. But I was very green. I had just started out in the fitness industry,
Yeah.
and he thought it was funny. Pissed me off. Matter of fact, I fired
Yeah.
his ass. So,
Yeah.
yeah, because I got him fired. I told my manager, hey, dude, this motherfucker, basically, I can't work or walk. I literally could not walk, man. And that's how I couldn't touch my heel to the ground. That's how bad my calves were cramped up from a leg routine. So I would say, yeah, vet your personal trainers. Make sure they have their certifications and get the testimonies. Hey, do you have like 3 or 4 clients that aren't your friends that you can send to me? Let me just
Mhm.
talk to them or see their recommendations on you. What's your recommendations and your reviews? And do your homework. You know what I mean? Because it's right there. The proof is in the pudding. Go to their Instagrams, look and see how they're doing in the fitness center. See if you see the same people for like a certain period of time that are in those videos that they haven't left them.
Right.
Like they only go to them for a month and then they quit. Well, that tells me a little bit of something. Either the person sucks and they're lazy, which can happen, or they didn't think that trainer was as good as they thought they would be. So,
Yeah, the problem I had, and I realized after the fact is, because I was pretty naive about the whole personal training and the gym life, for most of my life. I would go to the box stores, like, I went to Lifestyles Family Fitness, and
hmm
you know how when you start up, well, you work there, so you know exactly how it works. You
hmm
start up, and they offer you like a free training session, and then you can
correct.
buy packages with their trainers. I didn't realize that those guys really don't get a whole lot of training or expertise.
Can I interject on that?
Yeah, sure, shoot.
90% of them were not personal trainers.
Yeah,
Um, and I have no problem saying that. But okay, so the fitness industry has changed for the most
yeah,
part. They do start to require, if you're going to be personal training and you're accepting money for your services, that you need to be certified coming in on a
yeah,
club level. In most cases, not all. I mean, that's why it's also good to vet the place that you go to as far as your fitness
right.
center. I'm not going to call out Planet Fitness, but I've seen some guys training in there, okay, that
Mhm.
look like they don't train.
Right.
But they're and I and just based on some of the stuff that I've learned from other personal trainers over the years, and I see them telling them what to do, and it's wrong. So again, it goes back to, you're absolutely right. Most of those guys are sales guys, and
Yeah,
they're trying to keep you locked in. Back in the day, this is how it was, because you only had a certain amount of time before. I think it was a 3-day cool off period in the state of Florida,
right.
and when you signed a contract, so you
Mhm.
tried to get
Yep.
them. If you got them in with a personal, air quotes, trainer,
Yeah.
the odds are you were going to at least do that for 2 weeks. So now you've passed that 3-day cancellation period, and guess what the sales guy does after that?
What?
Dusts his hands off and walks away because he got
Yeah.
paid. And that's how it was. And it really created a bad taste in people's mouths
Yeah.
because it sets them up for failure, frustrates them, and then they don't want to go back. And that
Right.
sucks. And that really sucks because that's a shitty way to be. I mean, because,
Yeah.
the hardest part is getting in your car, getting motivated, get in the car to get to the front door.
Yeah.
So once you get to the front door, it's easy at the gym at that point, in my opinion. It's just getting through the front
It
door is the
is
hardest
and it
part.
isn't because, like,
Sure.
the part that I struggled with was, and it happens now too. Like you jump on Instagram and you see these really fit people
Mhm.
and they're doing an exercise program and you're like, I want to do that. But the problem is they're so much further down the journey than I am, that a lot of the stuff they're recommending are like advanced moves, which makes it very, very challenging and very hard to do, and often leads to improper form because you don't have the stabilizing muscles to support the movement, and then you end up getting hurt. That's my experience. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, I can't tell you how many times, like, I bought like, the beach body when it came out, the what was the other one? The 90
Oh.
Power 90 or something.
I actually
Um,
actually, I did that workout. It was pretty intense,
yeah.
uh,
And
but it
then
was Beachbody.
Insanity,
Mhm.
and then there was Insanity. Remember Insanity?
Mhm.
And my problem with those is, it's kind of like, all right, this is the analogy I'm going to use. You know how like when you buy a brand new car and a new motor, they tell you like for the first 500 miles go easy for the break-in period.
Mhm.
I feel like it's like that with the human body too. I feel like you should have like a break-in period where you're doing the movements and you're learning the form and the process and you're acclimating your body to work under load. So that way you don't experience injury, or like in your case where you're so sore and so fatigued that you don't want to do it again because you're like,
Mhm.
holy shit, that sucked. I'm down 3 days. I can't move. I can't walk. I can't do nothing. Um, you know, that's probably the biggest thing I'm learning this time about, because I did hire like a running coach, like for a personal trainer. Um, and it's made a world of difference in the fact that he's very knowledgeable and he's very skilled at what he does. So he doesn't overtrain me and he doesn't give me things that are so far past my skill level that it just frustrates me and makes me not want to do it. And it's almost like when the challenge comes along, it's like a pleasant surprise, like, oh shit, I did that and it was not nearly as hard as I thought it was going to be because I did all the little stabilizing work to go.
Yeah,
Um
overtraining is a real problem, and that's why I said it, you can separate. I, I'm just going to say it how it is. You separate the men from the boys in the industry, because the guys that are really good at what they do and the personal trainers, they know it's just like what you said. Small building blocks that you got to build the foundation, and then you can start working on the house, and then you put the roof at the top when it's all said and done, and then it's maintaining it and making it maintain its appearance forever. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I always like to look at fitness as a house. If you have no foundation to start with, which is usually what you're eating, things of that nature, and then you start with the small increments of the building blocks going up. It's kind of like with your guy. I don't mind mentioning his name, Jay.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
mean,
Jay.
he's been really good with you because I've watched you go from not being, pardon the way I say this, not being able to fucking run at all.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? To where you just ran your first 5K.
Nonstop. I completed
Nonstop.
it.
You didn't stop. You
Yeah.
were straight through. And
Yeah.
again, it wasn't about the time. It was about finishing
Well, that
and
that
and
wasn't the
and and
goal.
and not
Yeah, the goal
stopping
the
and
goal
not
the goal
stopping.
wasn't time. Yeah, the goal on this run, which was nice too, because going into it, it was like it wasn't the goal was not how fast can you finish it. It wasn't finish and speed. It was just finish. Pace yourself, take time, but never stop running and finish it. Because that way, and now it's like I know I can do it. So now it's like start working on speed drills to get a little bit faster.
No, you're right.
And,
So oh,
endurance
sorry.
drills to go a little bit longer. So that way now it's going to be speed and length, just like she said.
I so wanted to crack a guy joke right there.
um,
That's what she said. But it's funny that you say that because I literally went into the gym,
yeah,
you know, and I kept thinking I need to lift like I lifted when I was 25.
right. Which
And
you can't because you're
which
53.
you're absolutely right. I'm 53. So I was like this. I went, man, I got to get in there and crush it, or I look like a pussy. You know what I mean?
You need
That's
to be
what I
doing.
was thinking.
You need to be doing like Tai Chi and shit.
Yeah, but you but you get my point, right? So I had to change my mindset. Oh, yeah. But hey, we should do like Wayne's World back in the day. Hey, I think we should be in subtitles with horrible freaking voiceovers. I
Yeah,
said that you need to know. But anyway,
yeah,
so that being said, I realized, okay, you know what? I'm putting way too much pressure on myself.
right.
even though I have these 12-week programs, that I want to follow, this one program that I'm trying to do, I can't do those set weights that they're asking for in the beginning. I tried it and then I realized, okay, this is somebody who I just can't do it. Like I physically couldn't get through the reps and the sets, So I was like, okay, that tells me I need to lower my weight just a little bit so I can get through the sets. So I had to
Yeah.
find my place of where my strengths and weaknesses are, and I'm a lot weaker than what I was at 25. Believe me, I'm telling you.
Mhm.
So I went,
Yeah.
okay, but you know what? It goes back to what I was saying earlier. You build the foundation, you start the building blocks of the house, and then
Right.
you finish it off once you get to your goal of where you want to be, and then you maintain that house. That
Yeah.
body. Your body is your house, man. It is your sanctuary. It is your strength. Uh, and if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else. It starts with
Yeah.
you, but
And
go ahead.
I was gonna say, and I noticed like when I went into the gym, speaking of that level, and I had those other personal trainers that really weren't personal trainers, they would assign exercises that were way outside my level of skill set in that moment in time, as opposed to giving me something that was modified or working it up, and then they make me feel kind of bad for not being able to do it, you know?
No, right.
As opposed to making it something that was manageable, enjoyable, and sustainable. Because I feel like we have this problem right now in society where it's like we have to have we got to have it now attitude.
Hmm.
We got to get everything right this very second, and then we also it has to be extreme, like extreme diet. Like I'm gonna cut out an entire food group while I'm on my diet, and I'm not gonna eat it, or I'm only gonna eat these 3 things for the next 90 days, and that's it. You know,
Which is the wrong
and it's
mentality to have.
and it's like it's unsustainable. So what happens is you get 60 days in, and you crash. You have a bad day, and all of a sudden you throw everything to end, as opposed to going, all right, I'm just gonna watch my calorie intake. If I want some wings, I'm gonna eat some wings, and I'm just gonna go lighter on the next meal. You know what I mean?
It's funny. It's funny you brought that up because realistically, it all
Yeah.
comes down to what you eat and
Right.
how much you eat and the things of that nature. But the
Yeah, you win on the
reality
plate.
is you need to get with somebody who is I don't want to almost an expert, and then knows your body. That's why I
Mhm.
think, when a good personal trainer will say, "Hey, let me see what your blood screen is. Let me see your
Yeah.
blood panel. Let me see your work. Let me see your blood work, so we can kind of and let's talk with your doctor and figure this out." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because most doctors don't know the physical programs. They just don't. They're
They don't
doctors.
care. No.
They're general. They're calling them
I
general practice.
literally don't. That's a whole nother
That's a
topic,
whole nother topic, right? I know.
because I literally had a doctor who I've now fired because he was like, "Oh, diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, that's all just a part of aging. That's all natural. Like
Bullshit.
it's just going to happen. We'll just give you a pill for it and everything will be fine. Maybe eat a little less, but everybody at some point is going to have high cholesterol, and everybody at some point is going to have diabetes." And I was like, "Are you fucking shitting me, dude? Like that's like horrible advice." Like,
That means you're a pimp to the pharmaceutical
and
company.
this
That's just
dude,
my
this
opinion.
and this doctor was like 300 pounds. Like he didn't give a shit about. He was just making excuses to make himself feel better in
Hey,
my mind now. But I'm like, what horrible advice.
let me ask you something. Would you
Yeah.
take food advice from somebody who is severely obese? No.
What century are we in? No, I'm just kidding.
No, but I'm serious. I mean, would you take the advice? Like, would you take advice of, about a pilot, even though he might have survived if he crashed his plane 5 or 6 times? Would you take flying advice from him? No.
Okay. So I
He
have we actually
survived, but I wouldn't take advice from him.
I actually had this conversation with another gentleman just recently. Um,
It's probably a horrible
and
analogy, but you get my drift.
no, and it's interesting because I look at it two ways. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't wait the I listen to the advice, but I
Correct.
weigh it based on their experience and then my own research on the advice. Because they
Your
might
research
have
and
nuggets.
facts.
I mean, they
Correct.
might have nuggets. Like, and the reason I say that is because, like, for most of my adult life, I was kind of overweight. Not kind
Right.
of, I was overweight. I mean, actually,
Yeah, I
there's
was gonna
times
say,
where I wasn't.
let's be
It
honest.
was
I was too.
yo-yo. It was yo-yo. There was times I was good, sometimes I was bad. But I was never super fit. But I knew a lot about it. because I did a lot of the research, just didn't do a lot of the work. So growing up, I was telling my daughter all the smart things and all the right stuff. I just wasn't leading by example.
Correct.
And she took the advice, and she's skinny and healthy and fit, and she works out every day and she eats healthy and her blood works great, and like, she's leading by example, and she's living what I preached in the beginning. And
Mhm.
I'm starting to come around and living what I'm preaching, and it's starting to show. But so I don't think you should discredit somebody just because they don't fit a certain mold, because they might have the knowledge and the expertise. But I do think that you should weigh it. Like, is it
No pun.
yeah, is it good advice? Just because, like, it's like a person could be overweight and tell you good nutritional advice. It just means that they're not following it themselves.
That's a good
Does that make
answer. I
sense?
mean,
Just as
that was a
much,
good follow-up.
just as much as somebody that's super fit can give you shitty advice.
This is true, and I've
I
had that
I
happen. So you're probably
i.e. i.e. the personal trainers I had at Lifestyles. They were all really fit looking dudes that I wanted to model, but they were just giving me really bad advice for my level of experience and my body type. And
or they didn't have a plan for you
yeah,
because they didn't have the information necessary in the beginning to
to make the
execute
plan
and
correct.
take
I
action
had the
on a plan.
I had the same thing happen to me at CrossFit. Like, I went to a CrossFit gym, and it was basically just do the workout of the day and, scale it to whatever you think you can do. Like, but coming in new, it's like, oh, shit, I don't know what I can
I
do.
don't know what
Like,
to scale. How
you
the
know what
hell
I
am I
mean?
supposed to know what to
So,
scale?
so you're looking at other dudes and you're like, I could look kind of like that guy. Let me do what he's doing. And then all of a sudden, you throw your back out because you got the form wrong, and you got, that's how I jacked up my shoulder a little bit, because I had the form wrong. I didn't have the foundational knowledge to do the move properly, and because of that and the excess weight, I wound up hurting myself a little bit. So that sucks. But I think, like you said in the beginning, like, just make sure you vet your personal trainer, and then listen to how your body feels, like, and then speak up and say, listen, this is way beyond my current level of skill. Is there a way we can modify this so I can
I was
reach the goal, but I'm not killing myself,
No, I was literally just about to ask you the next question before we got
Yeah.
out of here. So what would be your advice? And you just gave it. So hey, right
Yeah.
on, man. I'm right there with you. I think guys, listen, if you're just vetting your personal trainers,
Mhm.
um, and making sure they have those certifications, you know, uh, that's the route to go. I mean, because if they don't have it, then you're kind of just throwing it into the wind. And like you said, there might be a guy that's in great shape, gives you horrible advice, and then there's a guy that's not in such great shape but gives you the best advice in the world. So that's a good follow up. I was wrong because you're right. You should take the nuggets out of the information you're provided because you never
Yeah.
know who's going to have some good nuggets in there.
Right.
That was good advice.
I mean,
Uh,
I've had personal trainers tell me, like, okay, all you need to eat is brown rice, bland chicken, and broccoli 6 times a day, every day, and you'll lose weight. Which, yeah, that will work without a shadow of a doubt. Like, you work out, you eat that food, you'll hit the goal. But for me, that was hell on earth. Like, I would rather put a bullet in my head than live like that every single day. Like,
yeah, no
and then
shit.
there's no sustainability, because here's what happens. You go through this is what I was going to talk about earlier. You go through these crazy training programs, like Insanity,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden you're back to the real world.
Yep,
And now what? Because you've not built any sustainable habits
none.
on your food, on your exercise, anything, And then a lot of people start the program all over again, and they're just like continuous in this loop where that's not really living either, in my mind. I mean,
I'll be
you
honest with
got
you.
to find stuff that makes you happy and balances your life, I feel.
I look at it in this way, and we can end on this note, and we could take this to a
Yeah.
whole nother level about like food and things like that, and doctors and things to
Hmm.
look for from personal experiences. But I don't like fad diets. Never have. They
No.
don't work. Like you said, they're unsustainable. Uh, if it works for you, great. Have at it, kid. You know what I mean? But for the majority of people, it's just in regular day life. It's hard to maintain that and enjoy. I mean, because food should be enjoyable for you.
Yep.
It shouldn't be something like, "Oh, fuck, I gotta eat." You know what I mean?
Right.
This shit because I eat it 3 times a week. You know what I mean? The same
Yeah.
things over and over again. So just weigh those out too as well. Um, so before we get out of here, I just want to throw a couple of quick shout outs. One to Matthew Hedden. I assume that's Matthew. That's how you pronounce your last name. But you can follow him on Instagram at Matthew Hedden. That's HEADDEN. Also at Coach Brandon Mancine on Instagram. Both of them, and this is what I mean by vetting people.
Right.
You know, giving some advice, interacting with. They all have a bunch of followers, as well, but they still reach out and check on me, even though I'm not giving them 1 cent. So I really appreciate you guys' information that you're
Yeah.
providing. So make sure you guys are vetting your personal trainers. Second thing I'd like to say is just don't forget to head over to at MasonDangerCO. Or at Mason Danger CO on Instagram. You can follow them there, but you can also go to their website.
Right.
Just add the .com to the back end of that. You get 20% off on everything there. They got cool man shit. Just use the promo code DailyBM. Mikey, before we get out of here, any final thoughts?
No, I think we covered this topic pretty decently. If you guys have any comments or things that you'd like to bring up, head on over to our Facebook group and talk about it in there, or hit us up on Instagram or any of the other social platforms. Or you can email us at info@thedailybm, like Brad said, and we'll be happy to discuss it on the show. Hope you all have a great day, and back to you, Brad.
Yeah, and like my final thought is real simple. Hey, listen, if there's some things that you don't agree with what we said, and we
Yeah.
need clarification on, hey, again, don't hesitate. Send it over to us. Leave us a comment because we would love to know what your thoughts are on the matter. As far as personal trainers and vetting and things of that nature, or even diet and food and stuff that we discussed today.
Yeah.
And with that, we'll see you guys on the next one, and we will catch you on the flip side.
Have a good one.
Deuces. Deuces.